Hey everyone, this is Bales. I'm on Trends at FantasyLabs looking at MLB and going to show you how to create a daily fantasy trend and how to use it in your model. So when you come to this page, click on Create a Fantasy Trend. You'll be prompted to name the trend. A lot of times you won't know what you like to name it, so I just put in test. You can change it later. Pick the sport, the position. For baseball it's hitter or pitcher, and then the site. So we'll do DraftKings hitters. Click OK, and basically you gain access to our entire database of stats, and you can use these to create filters to look at players. And the concept behind this is to look at plus minus and consistency. Plus minus is the points above expectation that players have scored in the past. So we're looking for value situations, and we calculate that by looking at average expected points, and that's the number of points that we expect a player to score based on his salary. So we have historic scoring and performance data, and since we have no filter set, or we actually have a filter of salary between 0 and 20,000, which would include every hitter, obviously, on DraftKings over the past few years, sample of over 81,000, with an average expected score of 6.83. That means regardless of salary, hitters have scored 6.83 points on DraftKings on average in a given day. And 39.1% of the time, that's our baseline. That's how often they exceed their expectation. It's not 50% just because there's more upside than there is downside. When a player does really poorly, he just scores 0. It's only 6.83 points below expected, whereas a guy who hits 3 home runs can score 30 or 40 points above expectation. So we have all these different filters. You can click on the categories here to look at them. The new stuff that we have this year is a lot of advanced stats. So this is advanced stats over the past year, which is a running 12-month total. You can look at things like ground ball percentage, exit velocity, that's how hard hitters are hitting the ball, how fast it's coming off of the bat, the average distance, which I've actually found to be quite valuable, just looking at the average distance of batted balls. So we got XY coordinates of every batted ball in baseball, so we can do a lot of cool stuff. Hard hit percentage, which is a really cool stat, which looks at velocity and categorizes whether a batted ball was hit well or not. We have these same stats over in a recent time frame, which is over the past 15 days, and we have stats for the opponent. So this would be the opponent exit velocity as the average exit velocity allowed by opposing pitchers. So we have all of these different stats. I would say just look through these and just test different things. So let's look at Vegas. We're looking at all batters, but let's look at batters solely on teams that are the favorite to win. And then also, let's say they're at home. So if we do solely home favorites, you can see our sample is now 27,000. It was 81,000. We have a plus minus of just 0.1. So that's not a huge plus minus. It means that there's been a little bit of value there. Consistency barely went up. So this is a positive trend, but probably not one that we would want to create just because there's not really that much value here. The sample's really nice. And it's not that players on home teams or batters on favorites that those things don't matter, but it means that it's probably priced into DraftKings salaries pretty well. So that's the most powerful thing that Trends allows you to do. It allows you to not only see what is predictive of success on the field, but really more important, what's predictive of DFS value. And a fundamental part of that is controlling for salaries. So we would never expect a player who costs $3K to score as much as Mike Trout. We need to adjust for that. And so by doing that, by incorporating these salaries into the expected points, we can really figure out what is priced into salaries and what's not. So we'll run another one here. We'll remove those filters and remove the salary one as well. And let's look at weather. So we will do a weather rating of let's say 90 or above. And weather rating is a metric that I created that looks at a whole bunch of different factors: altitude, temperature, which are the two most important, wind speed and direction, and how that compares to the stadium orientation, humidity, a whole bunch of different things. So we'll say 90 and above. Click OK. There's only been 519 of those in the past, but those situations have created massive value for hitters. 2.84 points above expected. Consistency 53.6, which is massive. That's way above our baseline of 39.1%. So just blindly targeting hitters in these spots has proven to be really, really valuable in the past. So we could actually move that down to get a larger sample. Let's say that we want to look at batters in games with a weather rating of 70 or above. Now we have 6209, and maybe we add another factor to that. Let's say we want to look at those batters who are playing in division. A lot of times batters in division see pitchers more than once and they do better. That actually moved the plus minus of this down, so this was actually a poor filter to add. We would remove it, and you can just play around. When you are finished, you can click edit and rename it. So we might call this trend batters with weather rating at least 90. So it's actually 70, but you get the idea. And then you don't actually need to save. It's automatically saved. You can delete it if you want. If you click back, it will show up in your trends. And then when you go to any of our other tools, there's the trend. If you go to player models or player ratings or lineups page, when those players are shown that fall into this particular trend, they will have a trend next to their name, so you can see the number of trends that a player has, and overall you obviously want to be targeting players who have those angles that have historically led to value. So it's just a way to sort of quantify when players are in really good spots and how many of those that they're in. So it's a really powerful tool, I think potentially underutilized, and it's something that you can incorporate into models to be able to ultimately build better DFS lineups.